Do you know about Association of Indian Management Schools? It's a 34-year-old networking body of B schools in India, having a membership of about 600 top management institutions. AIMS focuses on professionalization of management education, protects interests of B schools, represents management institutions at national and international forums, financially supports members in academic events, funds research projects on management, disseminates management-related knowledge through its annual Management Education Convention, conferences, seminars, roundtables and workshops, organizes free weekly webinars on knowledge sharing and inspiring young leaders sessions for management faculty and students, supports B schools in admissions through Atma, AIMS test for management admissions. Visit https://atmaims.com for more details. Publishes a biannual AIMS Journal of Management. Visit https://aimsjournal.com for more details. Circulates a quarterly e-newsletter on AIMS activities. Conducts workshops on case writing. Encourages AIMS members to be part of decision-making processes as members of chapter management committees and the executive board. Encourages students' participation in free weekly quiz competitions by providing support to interested institutions. Facilitates networking and interaction among B schools. Why would you like to remain a non-member of AIMS? Pay a very low one-time membership fee and enjoy many lifetime benefits. Visit https://aims.org.in for more details.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Anand Agrawal. I am working with ISBR Business School as Executive Director, and I am very glad to receive this invitation from AIMS. This knowledge sharing session is organized in partnership by AIMS with Business Standard. I am also very glad to introduce two expert panel members in the knowledge sharing session today. This session is dedicated to learn more and get insights about leadership and change management in the context of the BANI world. We'll talk about BANI, we'll talk about leadership, we'll also talk about how the leadership and change management is executed in organizations by the practitioners. What are the nuances? What are the challenges? What are the tools, technology, and the other aspects which are important for us as professionals to take care of during the execution of world. My name is Dr. Anand Agrawal, and I have been contributing to the education sector for more than 20 years now. Currently, I am actively working with ISBR Business School in Bangalore as Executive Director with a mandate to make it a world-class institution. Using my international experience in 5 countries, including Malaysia, Philippines, Dubai in UAE, and Ghana in Africa. I have been a mentor for startups, coach for professionals, and guide for researchers, and have taught students at all levels of bachelor's, master's, and doctoral programs, and all types of students, including pre-experienced students, working executives at managers, directors, CEOs, and presidents of different organizations, and different cultures in management development programs. I do research in the areas of leadership, change management, marketing, and higher education. So thank you everyone to be here with us today. I'm glad to introduce the two panelists today. So we have with us Mr. Kamal Sahdev, who is a dedicated HR leader with over 16 years of experience in steering high-performing teams across talent acquisition, talent development, learning and development, industry academia collaboration, organizational development, performance management, and employee engagement. He has a proven track record of partnering with the top management on pivotal projects to drive organizational growth. Possessing rich cross-cultural experience, he has successfully collaborated with diverse teams from various countries on multifaceted projects. Mr. Kamal is an adept communicator with a knack for building strong relationships and exceptional problem-solving skills, committed to fostering a positive workplace culture and contribute to the overall success of the organization. Let us all welcome Mr. Kamal. The other panelist we have is Mr. Manish Jain. He's a seasoned and results-oriented professional with an illustrious career spanning over 25 years. He has consistently demonstrated leadership excellence in managing high-performance teams, showcasing proficiency in profit and loss management, new business growth, and innovative healthcare operations. Over the past 14 years in the UAE, Manish has played a crucial role in strategic healthcare operations, significantly contributing to the growth of Aster clinics in the region with outstanding 40% year-on-year growth. His leadership, characterized by data-driven and KPI-driven processes, has been pivotal in managing a diverse team of more than 2,000 employees across different disciplines of Burjeel, which stemmed unit expansion and substantial revenue growth. Beyond his corporate responsibilities, Manish actively engages in mentoring startups with fintech applications and contributes to management consulting projects. He is also a faculty of Business Management College in India. His practical business insights cover a wide spectrum from digitization adoption to customer experience enhancement, customer acquisition, operational excellence initiatives, and strategic problem solving for enterprise. Very glad to welcome Mr. Manish also. So Mr. Manish and Mr. Kamal, how are you doing today? Are we ready for the panel discussion?
Good afternoon. Thank you, Professor Anand, for having us here. Myself and Kamal here. We're glad that we are joining you today.
Good afternoon. Thanks for the invite and looking forward to share the insights and learn from each other. Thank you.
And thank you, Kamal. In spite of your traveling schedule today, you agreed to join this panel discussion. Of course, we will not be able to see you in the video, but we will learn from you, your insights from your comments to the audio. So thank you for joining this. Now, some kind of rules which we need to follow, some norms. During the session, participants cannot unmute themselves. They may use the Zoom chat box for questions that will be answered during the question answer session at the end of this particular panel discussion for last 10 minutes. Feedback or attendance link will be shared in the Q&A session itself. Will be available only for 15 minutes. Certificates will be issued to only those who submit the feedback form. So the question and answer session will be at the end for 10 to 15 minutes. So with this, let us start the panel discussion. So this world we are calling nowadays, from VUCA world, we have changed to BANI world. The term BANI is often used to describe the volatile and unpredictable nature of the modern business environment. BANI stands for brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible. In a BANI world, traditional business models may struggle to adapt due to rapid changes, uncertainty, and complexity. It means the traditional business models are no more working. Even the concepts which we're using to manage the VUCA world seems not applicable in the BANI world. Therefore, organizations need leaders who can navigate these challenges, embrace the change, and implement effective change management strategies. With this context, when we all know that BANI world is actually a kind of a situation here at this point of time in this era, which is throwing so many challenges. And many of these challenges are related to leadership, team management, teamwork, organization, etc. And at the same time, there's a need to be agile. So my first question is to Mr. Kamal. In a BANI world, how can leaders cultivate agility to navigate the brittleness, anxiety, non-linearity, and incomprehensibility of the business environment?
Thank you, Dr. Anand. I think this is a very, very relevant part to us because we've been hearing about the VUCA world from, I think, more than now, almost a decade. And now there is, after especially post 2019, there are new terms which has coined up. So for me, I think the adaptability towards culture is something which is very, very important nowadays. To have a deeper understanding about the culture is important. And if I say my own personal experience, I've been working with an organization which is a Taiwan-based organization. It is spread over 100 plus countries. But the one thing which is holding us together, even in this kind of anxiety and fragile environment, that is the sustainability part. Whatever we do, we encourage always a mindset which kind of, makes us very, very comfortable towards change and values adaptability. So adaptability is something which everybody needs to work on. How things are changing, one should be very much open to continuous learning and always look forward to invest themselves in some kind of new things what is going on in the world, and you should be always equipped with the necessary how to navigate things which are always available in internet or some other resources. You should be open, you should take things with open minds, and this is what can really create a great environment at the workplace or business scenario. Because if I give you example, right now, even if you see around you the organizations we all have worked, even to our listeners, at least two generations or sometimes even three generations are working in the same organization. So this becomes very, very important for everyone to understand that what are the dynamics of the situation and how quickly we can adapt and make sure that whatever things we are doing, that is sustainable. Uh, Coming again to my current organization, Delta Electronics, we've been here in the business from last 50 plus years, and whatever we do, we imbibed by one thing, that is giving back to environment. So that is something which has kept us going and very, very sustainable nature, because this is something which is part of our culture, and whosoever works for, be it R&D or be it manufacturing or business side or support side, they all have this very clear way ahead. That is that we do with culture, keeping culture in mind, keeping the adaptability in mind, and also making sure that we learn with time. So these are the few things which comes to as a priority, for me. And also talking about one more important aspect, that is the being openness to learn things from different streams or functions. Sometimes now we see that yes, we do have access to a lot of knowledge material which is available on various websites and forums and academies. However, we need to keep our eyes and ear open. What are the things which are going on? Because you see how the world is shaping up. Asia is in a different state, be it Europe is in a different state of affairs currently. US is also going through something. So we as an individual, we need to keep our eyes and ear open, that the overall how the world is shaping up, because any activity which is taking place anywhere in the world can really impact wherever you are. We saw a latest example which is going on between see Maldives tourism and Lakshadweep things. So anything can happen which is very, very fragile in nature, but we need to keep our ourselves very, very upbeat and make sure that whatever we are doing, that has some consensus with the sustainability part. I think this is something which comes to my mind as a top of the game currently. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kamal. I think the example which you have given about the latest issue between the Lakshadweep and Maldives is a very good example showcasing the BANI world, because we see all the characteristics of being brittle, anxious, nonlinear, incomprehensible is what is going on in this situation, in this context. Also, I like the point you talked about the need for continuous learning, the need for open mindset, and the need to be adaptable and work with different cultures. Manish, based on your experience in United Arab Emirates, you're working in Abu Dhabi, in one of the largest organizations in medical industry there. Do you think the points which are mentioned by Kamal are applicable in the Arab world and in that region also?
Absolutely. It applies. And if you look at last few years, how the Middle East is growing quicker in terms of traditional oil-based market to open to every aspect of possibilities. Expo 2020 was a great example when Dubai showcased one of the best expos of the world. And Middle East is still following. Saudi has taken over in 2030. So in a decade, 2 expos in a region is a great example of how region is moving fast towards the development, towards the encashing other possibilities apart from the traditional oil-based industry approach. Things are changing, things are growing different. You could see a sporting event taking a major share in the region. If you look at one of the best sporting events in the world are coming to this part of the world. Hosting one of the best sporting, Qatar has hosted. You're getting now into Expo. Saudi is coming for an Expo. So you could see a huge investment coming across. Again, if you look at the stock markets in this region, have just started evolving. Look at the investments, the international investments coming across this part of the world is immense. It's growing fast. And the speed with which they are growing, I could see one of the fastest growing nations in this part of the world. What I have seen in last 15 years, I would have witnessed this in some other countries for maybe more than 30, 40 years. The speed is double. And leadership, as we talked about leadership today, the BANI world, when we're talking about how agile leadership is, leadership in this part of the world is amazing. Have you heard about a department called artificial intelligence? There is a department in the government only in the name of artificial intelligence. That's how they are going. There's a department. Now, if you see, there is a department in India for a government, maybe IT or broadcast or something like that, but we have a specific department called artificial intelligence department. That's how they are growing. That's how they are developing. That's how they are moving so fast and agile to the new world. So this region is also poised. You could see one of the fastest opportunities coming in this part of the world. Collaborative approach. World has become is shrinking. It's getting smaller. There's nothing happens for a country. Either it happens for the region or for the world. And now you could see that a lot of international collaborations coming to this region. And I could see most of the Fortune 500 have presence here. They have almost most of the aspects are covered in this part of the region, and probably this region is going to host a lot of development in coming years.
Thank you, Manish. So both of you are talking about change and change for the better. That requires continuous learning. That requires adaptability. This change requires also continuous learning. My question is that, okay, we all know what is needed. What is more important for us as leaders, as managers, is to understand how to execute this change. So when we say, okay, in an organization, let us adopt some new practices, which will lead to some positive change and will be more sustainable. We will be a learning organization. We'll continue learning. We'll adopt. We'll become proactive. There's always some kind of resistance. There's always some kind of fear and anxiety in the organization. How do you, as a leader, execute this change management? What are the key principles of effective change management, especially the BANI world? And Is this approach in the current era of executing change management different from, say, 10 years, 20 years back? This question is for Manish. Manish, you are muted.
Yeah, as we always say, change is constant. So change is going to be there part of every aspect, and change will continue. And how do you adopt is what the success is. How you quickly adopt to this change. But looking at what's happening across and what we are talking about in this BANI world is comprehensible defense current business landscape. If you look at traditionally, take an example of what Pepsi has done in past. What was known for and what is known today. It has grown into a big conglomerate, right from not just a cola drink to a various products, and also focusing on healthy products coming in. They have done a lot of research and development, and that's how the change you could see. One of the example, especially in this region, also you could see a lot of changes happening. Business is evolving. Changing very fast. The set stage traditional approach might not suffice, may not be enough for you to continue to grow the way you want to grow. All these challenges either it pushes you or develops you to bring that change, and that change initiative is more demanding these days. Today, even in my routine day, we come across 80% of situations where you need to take a call. Being into healthcare, you get a situation where you need to take a call and you have to be abreast with what's happening in the market as well as in the competition, in the regulations. And healthcare is a highly regulated market, of course. You need to change yourself, adopt yourself. You need to have agility to move and excellence. At the same time, we also support government initiatives in case of any emergencies, any national security. Being a healthcare player is one of the strongest hand that you develop yourself with the government, with the regulators, and be yourself ready with any situation coming across and take control of it and manage the situations. One of the biggest example was COVID, which we already faced, and how Abu Dhabi, you could say that Abu Dhabi is one of the best managed place in terms of how we managed COVID, and that was because of public and private partnership, and that's the agility of our leadership team and Burjeel, how we managed, how we opened and managed the change. And this will continue. I think COVID is just the beginning. After that, I think we have seen many changes happening. Many new companies have mushroomed or grown after the COVID scenario. COVID was a good example of people, and BANI concept was just new in 2018-19, and after COVID 2020 has become more popular and comprehensive and being widely used in terms of assessing the change, assessing what is required. And just to add to key principles, what we discussed, key principles of effective change management in BANI world is to emphasize on agility and the speed. The traditional approach will not rely on the linear approach, the rigid plans. You have a set of plans, you need to continue. You should have those plans definitely at a larger scale. But at the same time, you need to have an adaptability to iterate, agile even for these, and adapt to the rapid changes. Another aspect which I would also share, which I've been using in effective change management, is experimentation and learning. We always used to, at Burjeel, we have done a lot of testing or experimentation, in emphasis on learning from failures and quickly adapting to the new things and moving quickly. Until unless you don't bring change, until unless you don't try, you don't know what is going on, what is going right for you, what is going wrong for you, or you just become a status quo and just continue doing that. So you need to challenge that. So we've been good in that. We did a lot of experimentation, saying that okay, what we can do this, how we can do this, and the learning and development, research and development, quickly and creating solutions instead of relying on those fixed blueprints. So we adapted, we looked at what our changes, and frequent meeting and the communication actually helped us to understand what we're doing. And the change management, success of change management is communication. The third aspect, which after experimentation learning, we looked at prioritization. The prioritization we focused on employee engagement and ownership. Unless you don't drill down your plan, you don't rely on people whom you expect them to come up and perform, we need to prioritize employee engagement. So we believe in communicating to all the channels, bringing to the employee engagement, informing them, giving them an ownership to run the projects. Traditional methods can be top down, but then we are looking at a top to bottom and bottom to top, two-way, and to advocate for the active employee participation, fostering a sense of ownership. Until and unless you don't bring the ownership, traditionally it continues, your work continues on your day-to-day basis. But to bring in that buying, the throughout change process, you need to build an ownership among your employees. And next step is to build a culture of transparency. Most important is open communication. So whenever you want to bring a change, whenever you want to ensure that there's something bigger coming in, there should be a good standard rollout program communication. Those traditional hierarchies will not help. You need to go down. You need to get down and sit with at every level of people to make them understand their role and importance and how it will change the way we are operating now. So being in a hospital, being in a complex environment where you deal with complexities, you deal with emotions, empathy. It's very important that you stifle communication, highlight the importance of what the change is, clearly communicating, frequently two-way communication, especially during uncertain times. You need to emotionally also build a relation, connect with your employees during difficult or uncertain times. And then we need to focus on building resilience and adaptability. You need to also ensure that you bring traditional methods might aim for stability, but then you need to advocate for a developing organization's capability to handle disruptions and unforeseen challenges. And for that, you need to build a resilience, adaptability, how versatile you as a management and your team is able to adapt to these changes. And most important is leveraging technology and data. That's handy. Every organization needs to work on their best technology platforms, data to be utilized, insights, facilitate decision making, and actionable insights. That's how it is. And this is what I feel, Professor Anand. You want to add anything? Kamal, you want to add anything? This is my thought on change management.
I think you have covered most of the thing. Only thing what I want to add is that change with the change, otherwise change will change you. So that is something which is very important nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very long and comprehensive list you have mentioned here, Manish, and all of them makes a lot of sense, and most of them are interconnected with each other. So I'll start with experimentation and learning, which is a requirement at this point of time, leading to frequent meetings and communication with the team, planning with the team, engaging the team, giving the ownership to the team members. There should be clarity of the roles and expectations. So that is where the role of KRs and KPIs come into picture. Building resilience and adaptability in the team, in the way we work, leveraging technology and data, and having actionable insights for decision making. This is, I think, a very comprehensive list of what are the different aspects or key principles of effective change management in the BANI world today. And I cannot underestimate, nobody can underestimate the importance of communication there. So my question is for Kamal. Kamal, especially in this particular situation, you're working with Delta Electronics, which is a multinational company, and you're managing so many countries and so many people of different culture. How do you manage the communication across the teams in different cultures in different countries at a time of uncertainty, especially in the change management projects?
I think it becomes very relevant because if you see the kind of metrics most of the multinational companies work with, they will always have the home country structure, and plus they'll also have host country, which where the mother country, I would say, in terms of, so they need to have a very good existence with each other. And there are many examples, be it some Korean companies or be it any Japanese companies, which we have seen, especially in a multicultural country like India. We have seen that how initially they all have struggled, they have really struggled. And with the time, the way they have learned from each other, I think when they know about each other's culture. So, for example, if we talk about, say, East Asia culture, okay, there the working environment is very, very strict. They emphasize on you to work very hard, slog it out, and pay minimum, I would say, attention to your private life. Okay, and when you work towards India, I would say it's maybe 60-40 or 70-30, something like that, more on a working environment side. But when you move towards, say, countries in Europe, or if you go to America, those continents have totally different approach towards looking at the work. So we as a regions, we as total team globally, our target is to achieve more revenue, more gross profit, net profit, and obviously giving back to the environment, society, with some noble causes. The way we do it probably different, but we need to understand from each other and constantly communicate with each other that what we are doing is towards one goal, and we need to make sure that with the time we recheck each other. We have some kind of sessions, forums with each other, where we give them our part of culture, they can also give us their part of culture. We have been doing this, and we've been engaging with many leaders across the world, which they come together as a forum. So this, I think, this is a key point here, especially in an organization which I am working, that in a year, at least 2 times, we invite leaders from different countries to come together under one umbrella, and we exchange thoughts, we exchange viewpoints, we have our because we all are product of our own experiences. We what all we have seen, we kind of believe in that. So we exchange ideas, and when we go back to our respective places, to our respective countries, cities, we kind of cascade those learnings to our teams, by any means. So this way, the fostering of the oneness culture, that is very, very crucial, and at this point of time we need it the most. So yeah.
Thank you, Kamal. I think wonderful initiative where the leaders from different cultures come together, frequent discussions happen, a lot of interactions happen between different cultures that helps in learning from each other. It helps in creating a learning organization. Coming to the learning organization now, how can organizations foster a culture of continuous learning and adaptability, especially due to the need of being resilient? The COVID and after post-COVID situation also, it is very important to be resilient for all the organizations. And we cannot be resilient if we're not learning continuously as organizations, as persons. So my question is for Manish here. So Manish, how do you make it sure, how do you ensure as a deputy chief operating officer of a large corporation that your organization is continuously learning? What are the initiatives? What are the key aspects you take care that the organization becomes a learning organization and it continues learning? What are the different things you do there?
Yeah, being into healthcare, it's growing so fast, going so quick, and we reach a situation where we are talking about handling a normal healthcare situation to a complex healthcare situation. Now, in a normal healthcare situation, you deal with your normal treatments, normal plans, normal. When you look at complexity, when you reach a point where you need to handle complexities, now if you're into a transplant program, or you're into a program of which needs a special collaboration. So we thought of bringing a collaborative approach in this part of the world, especially in Abu Dhabi, one of our units, which is Medical City. We found that there are patients who are traveling abroad, searching for the best doctors across the world. So we thought of a change, right? Let's bring doctors here. Let's bring the best talent in the world to attract and build their practice here. So that changes that adoption of bringing the best around the globe to be a part of Burjeel Medical City. So we have a dedicated one of the zone in the hospital where you have an international clinics, the branded clinics which are based in United States, or it's based in Korea, or it's based in France, or it's based in one of the best known doctors for their specialty have started visiting and running clinics within the hospital. So we found those the best doctors who were highly recommended by the locals here, and we used to visit these doctors there. Have started now operating their clinics here, operating their procedures here, and we have developed the best a model which adapts to this requirement. And if you look at these clinics, even physically, when you visit this clinic, you will feel that you're not visiting Abu Dhabi. Either you're visiting the Pele Institute. One of the examples is that Pele Institute in Francis. You're visiting the same location, the look and the feel and the design, everything resembles to those clinics available in those part of the world. So this requires a lot of learning, understanding, development. We need to have those international exposure. We have a dedicated team from projects, directly led by our leadership, directly managed by our chairman. Interest, and we take pride in running them in terms of how do you operate. Most important is at the ground when you operate them to ensure right talent joins that team, the right mix of people who runs this. And in this part of the world, you will see we have 200 nationals. We run with a 200 nationality set of diversity. What we are looking at is huge and amazing. The kind of people both coming together and developing, and for that requires a lot of learning, development, orientation. I myself take time to attend each and every new employee orientation. So whenever a new employee orientation happens, I spend those 1 hour with them to give them an insight of what are we looking at, why did you join us. It's a mutual growth opportunity for you as an employee and for us as an employer to ensure that we develop the best in class in the world, best class in what we are trying to achieve. So those orientation, those communications, and I ensure every new orientation, I spend those 1 hour with them to give them an insight of what we have been doing in this many years and what we want to do in next few years. And that 1 hour determines or gives a confidence and motivation to the new employees that yes, he has decided a journey which or joined an organization where organization is looking forward. And in that meeting, I give them an importance to say that you are here to challenge this status quo. You are here to challenge the way we are operating. You are here to come back and say that this is. I'm coming from a background where I've seen a better way of running this operation or better way of running this project, and we give them that space important from day one, saying that we want you to challenge the way we are operating, the way we are doing our business today may not be relevant tomorrow. We need to change. So those orientations, those communications are quite important and clear, which fosters and give an openness for them to come back to you and keep your doors open. If you come with your ideas, we have ideation, we run innovation programs. You need to come back and say that, listen, there's something wrong here. The way we are operating now is not good. It's not enough. It's not enough for today. We need to change. We need to have better opportunities. And we have these doctors coming from different experiences, and we give them. And it's a physician driven. We will see it's not just management. It's not that I'm a management guy and love works only management. It's a physician participation, nursing participate. We have a leadership today. Our CEO is from a nursing background. So we are open and looking for a change. And we could see that physician, nursing, and all management thoughts together doing this. And that's how it is. And that's how Burjeel Medical City in 3 years' time, what has grown. I've seen such hospital growing 10 years. And that's how, with the speed with which we are growing, and still more to come.
That's very interesting, Manish. And that actually showcases how the focus is on towards innovation and also taking care at the same time the benchmarks, the quality and the operational aspect, operational quality is focused there. At the same time, you're talking about communication, orienting the team, and be with them and giving them space and the empowerment. So these are all things which are required at the current era. I want to hear from Kamal about his experience as a leader, especially as an HR director, about experiences related to balancing the stability and flexibility. See, when we say change management, at the same time we say risk taking, experimentation, innovation, it needs flexibility. But at the same time, team needs stability. How, as an organization, as an HR director, you're able to manage the balance of the stability and the flexibility to achieve the organizational goals and to be relevant and to manage the change and manage this particular BANI world. So how do you manage the stability and flexibility together, Kamal?
Yeah, I think it's a very important subject what you have touched upon, because these memories are still fresh in my mind. 2 years back, totally the market was disturbed, especially the IT industry. Anything or any you ask anything, and people were ready to give the package by any means or anyway. They were just trying to grab the talent. But companies, which are sustainable, which we know, which we all know as the benchmark for IT industries, they did not really disturb their apple cart. They did not went with the flow, because that time I still remember we used to engage one candidate for one position, and that person used to hold three offers or sometimes four offers, in hand, and whatever they were asking, people were giving them. So what I'm trying to say is that there are few things which we need to see. It's always the market is changing. There are some trends. There are something which is mushrooming. But as an organization, we need to see what is sustainable. That time we saw that there were a lot of demand for the flexibility, in terms of work from home culture. Yeah. Many people were really liking it for it. I think it went on for at least 2 years. Sometimes some companies have also still, ongoing. But in a long run, we as an organization, we identified that this is not the way. If we really want to be sustainable, this is going to be, of course, safety is paramount. First is the safety. When there is any incident or disaster management, we can always come up with some ideas. So we need to strike the balance, the right balance. And how we did that? We came up with a flexi hours policy. We did something, but we did not give, completely like work from home, unless it's really a mandate. I mean, in terms of the need of the hour, or I would say the safety aspect, we are the first one to make sure to support our employees. So this is one example. It comes to my mind when there was a rapid change which was happening. But there are some times we really need to see what is a fine point, what is a right balance, we need to have. Because if you see those companies which were get carried away in that time, they are most of them are suffering. Really, they are suffering now. And projects are on hold. They are not able to do what to do with their talent. All they are just make them sit on the bench. Or there are career locks. People are not able to grow further. Or maybe salary cuts. We did not go that way at all. We just made sure that striking the right equilibrium point, that is the key. And maybe for us it worked, and it depends on organization to organization. So we have to really see as a leader which is the point where we need to make sure that these points are covered. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, Kamal, you have answered it in a very balanced manner. The question about balance. So, and I know many companies where my friends are there and my known people who are working there, they are still struggling with this previous approach. They just followed the wagon and said, okay, work from home. And it is a very valid point. It has become a pain for many organizations at this point of time also. So
yes,
whatever
but
decisions.
Dr. Anand, the thing is, see, since I am also responsible for growth of the company in terms of the manpower, I faced a big pressure, from my management that time because we were not able to really go with the things. But
Mhm.
those are the, calls which as a leader somebody needs to take
Right.
at that time. So sometimes it works out, but yeah, as we say that at least some decisions to be taken by leaders. Yeah.
That is true. And what is the best point which I liked personally was the focus on sustainability. Before we take decision, we think, is this decision going to impact the sustainability of the organization, sustainability of the practices, the systems, and ultimately the long-term survival of the company. So that point of criteria before taking any decision is very useful for everyone. So I think with this, we have now last about 18 minutes remaining. I would like to open this particular discussion panel, the online panel, for questions. In case anybody from the participants, we have 93 participants in the session today. We are opening for questions. And I want to also ask Mr. Manish if he has any concluding remarks for this particular topic. Please share the concluding remarks. In the meantime, all the participants can write the questions in the chat box.
Yeah, yes, Dr. Anand. We've been talking and we covered a lot of areas. And the most important in terms of, let me emphasize on leadership during these times, how leadership plays important role, which translates to all the employees and results in growth. The most important aspect we've always highlighted is um, how the leadership influences the industry as well as the team. And most important aspect is to highlight challenges. So there are leaders who come back and sit with the team and openly discuss the challenges, which is important during the uncertainty, during volatility, during complexity, ambiguity. What you need is openness. A leader coming back and sitting with the team and saying that, listen, we have a challenge here, rather than putting their thoughts, putting their ideas, just emphasizing that this is what we want to do. Rather, come back and say that, listen, we have a challenge here. Let's discuss how do we manage this? How do we approach this challenge? And emphasis is on proactiveness, bringing innovation, opening space for the innovation. For last 3 to 4 years, we have 100 Days Innovation Challenge program, which happens in the last quarter of the business. And the last quarter, what we do is we bring a lot of new ideas and thoughts from every set of people to embrace them for the next year. And all these ideas and thoughts are gone through different sessions. We run through all the sessions of ideas. We select the top 3 ideas and we implement them for the next financial year. So in this whole process, the innovation challenge program for 100 days, we bring the top speakers from the other innovation startup companies. We also have any participations from the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, which is the biggest arm of investment as well as promotes innovations. So we conduct those kind of programs within the hospital where we have external speakers coming from innovation, coming from startups, and talking about the startup culture. So we bring that startup culture within our employees to give them an opportunity to make them feel a part of and get an experience of a startup, which is not easy, which is not usually opened in any other organization, and that's actually helps us. And physicians are given this opportunity. with the biggest ideas in healthcare comes from physicians, and that's where we also bring physicians in the front to come up with their ideas, thoughts, innovation, and how do we manage this change and adapt to the new changing world. And that culture, the culture which we cultivate, and we also ensure that we bring curiosity and experimentation also. We give them enough chance to say, okay, if you want to experiment this project, let's say 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, we are ready to invest on this. Uh, and that's how you give that opportunity, empower employees. We do a lot of empowerment and also decentralization. Those days have gone that everything comes from the top. No, mostly now a lot of things flow from middle and the below. So decentralization, decision making, giving them opportunity to decide, okay, this is your area, this is how you need to run it.
Right.
Take right decisions and keep running.
Yeah.
And build a diverse and inclusive team. Very important that we bring a lot of new as well as also a combination of people who have been with us. We have seen people who've been with us, loyal with us, been here for more than a decade, 15-year organizations, and you have people working with us for more than 10 years. A good large number of people being with us since inception, and that's the mix of a diverse employee combination, diverse backgrounds, perspective, which fuels innovations champion. So that's how these are the few things, as part of fostering innovations in the unit or in the organization with the leadership presence. And
Yeah.
we have our chairman who visits us often and does the on the spot town hall within the hospital. Very, very I would say agile in getting into getting on the ground and working with them. That's how we adopt. We use agile methodologies, rapid prototyping. This continues. That's how today Burjeel has been going so fast, and that's because of this adaptability.
Right. And I like the statements which you made, focusing the essence is collaboration, the essence is empowerment, working with the teams, communication, and being with the team members as a leader. So good. I have two questions here on the chat. First one is about, can you please share importance in Indian perspective, especially academics? So I have a comment about this question. So first of all, let us all see academics and education as any other industry. Like electronic industry, medical industry, education is also an industry. So the moment we learn that education is also an industry, it is also whatever we are learning from other industries, for example, from Mr. Manish and Mr. Kamal, is also applicable 100% in the education industry also, in the academics also. The moment we think academics is different and industry is different, the problem starts. So in any academic institution, academic industries, in the education industry, in either it is edtech or it is a traditional institutions or university, all these aspects which you talked about are 100% applicable in the management and the leadership. And also, India is a very important, critical and key part of the world. So whatever we're talking about Arab world or talking about multinational corporation like Delta is very much applicable in Indian situation also. So to answer this question, all of those things we have discussed is very much applicable to Indian context and in academics also. Another question is about what role does technology play in making aspects of a world more incomprehensible, and how can it be leveraged to enhance understanding? Can I ask this question from Kamal, a quick answer about the use of technology in leadership and make the world more comprehensible?
I think you see the technology plays an integral part nowadays, because what I have learned is that if you want to grow, in any aspect, be it any small office to big corporate to big, say, a big industry, you need to have technology integration. I give you one example. We all started maybe with computers and Excel files. Then it started, HRIS system and other things. Now it's about AI. So the technology keeps on evolving, but the basic fundamentals also in place. So we need to have that mindset, that if you need a growth mindset, you need to have a technological advancements which keeps on giving you an edge over your competitors, or at least you are at the same pace with the market? Because I can give you one very good example of our industry, say EV industry, EV, electric vehicle. So how things are moving now, you see, within 2 to 3 years time, India will have more than sufficient amount of electric vehicle chargers at least at metro cities. And what will happen is that you will just go like as a Paytm user, and you will scan that code, and you can charge your vehicle, as in. And also now, since we have Mr. Manish from UAE, now there are many ways, I would say, roads which are already there, developed, which automatically kind of charge the cars while you are running. And same will happen soon in India also, where we are coming up with the aerial way to charge our buses. So just imagine any industry, if they are not keeping a pace with the changing technology environment, what will happen? And you are in the education sector, say learning academies or credit systems or even the feedback mechanisms, all this needs a constant abreast and touch, a review what is happening. So I again say, if you want to grow, if you want to go at scale, this is what you need. Because even in manufacturing, there is a smart manufacturing concept. So what is it? It is just every year you need to produce the same. Maybe if you take this target that you produce the same amount of what your production value, but with reduction of maybe manpower, or you increase the production. There are only two choices. So we need to see that how we can do it. And then robotics coming into picture, AI is definitely going to change few things. So my suggestion is that as an individual, how you are taking it and every day into your daily work style, that's very important to learn. Yeah.
Right. So if I have to summarize what Kamal you may just mentioned, is that again going back to the essence when we started the discussion about the continuous learning and adaptability. Learning the new technology, adapting the new technology, or working with it is important here. Okay, good. So some more questions which are there related to the same topic of artificial intelligence. Can human intelligence and artificial intelligence be compared in human problems? I think we have already answered these questions here in the discussion. There is a feedback link. I'm requesting all the participants to please go through this feedback link and provide the feedback. It's very important for the AIMS organization and for all of us to improve, to learn, continuously learn in this practice, knowledge sharing sessions, in this practice of our panel discussion to be better. Now another question has come, which is, I will take as last question because of the time. Is AI affecting the senior lecturers in upcoming days, because some senior lecturers are illiterate in technology? So, I mean, there should be technology to help the senior lecturers to adopt technology, So where is the technology that helps other people to adopt technology? So if we are not helping the seniors, if you're not helping those who are not technology literate, by developing a technology to help them with the technology, what is the use of technology? I mean, it's a loop. So Manish, any insight about that?
I think this happens everywhere, not just in education industry. It happens everywhere. Yeah. Whenever we bring something new, there's always a fear that how will we cope up? What will happen to me? Yeah. And if you look at any of the research which says that whatever you're doing now will not be applicable in 5 years. Forget about 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Mm-hmm. If we are not able to equip ourselves to the latest trend, latest need, latest requirement, which works with a combination of the technology and the fundamentals of whatever you are, but you need to upgrade yourself. The skilling is now constant. Since skilling happens every day. And with the skilling, you need to adapt with the technology also. I think 5 years back, we never had an opportunity to have this conference like this often. We always depended on the physical location, getting people physically available to listen to each other and exchange ideas and thoughts. Today, things have changed. Now you can have it every day. You find now you're finding audience also. You're finding people who can actually collaborate and work with you. So AI is not just those complex technology which we come back and take away your job. No, probably not that. Probably complementing your job. So use that as a complement. Work with a complement. Develop yourself. Today, what I'm doing, I would say not even 5 years. In my case, every 3 years, I would see that I am what I was doing 3 months back has become already absolute. I should look for next 3 months, next 6 months, 12 months. It's going so fast. It's getting so diverse. It's getting into new things, and if you don't push yourself to new, always I get up and I used to think, what's new today? What is the new I'm going to do today? Whether it be a very simple thing of doing differently is important. So every day it should be something new.
Right.
It's not just AI. I think we need to build AI for ourselves. It is just an acronym that people think AI. But I would say it's AI for all of us. We have AI inside us. We need to push our AI.
Yeah.
Our artificial thinking needs to be pushed. And we
That's
need
right.
to bring ourselves every day, look for something new, very small thing, whatever it is, bring the change.
Yeah, and the point you mentioned about having an open mindset is very important here. So change with, and what Kamal has said, you should change with the time, otherwise time will change you.
Yeah,
It's very important.
And I would like to add something here, that people who think that this is something very, very complex. We personally, we are 3 members in my family, my wife and my 8-year kid, and the most I would say heavy user of AI is my 8-year kid. So
Right.
so actually, it's pretty easy, and it's very inviting and very exciting. Once you get hang of it, things are very simple to understand, and it makes your job easier. I totally subscribe to what Mr. Manish has said, that this is not taking away something. This is just adding value to what you've been doing. For example, a communication specialist just taking help from AI, it just makes sure that your ideas, your expressions gets a little bit more leverage. So it's don't consider that as something which is a threat. Make it as your friend of, or maybe I would say as your assistant, of daily work tasks.
Yeah, and as a leader, what we can do is to team up with the senior lecturers, some junior lecturers, so that they together work and learn from each other. Maybe the junior lecturer can teach the senior lecturer about how to use AI.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, at the end, I think this panel discussion was really insightful. A lot of learning is there. I can see some positive comments flowing in the chat also. We learned a lot, and especially the importance of learning continuously, being adaptable, having a progressive organization with the innovations, which are very important for all of us at this point of time. Let us continue these kind of discussions. I'm very grateful for this session for AIMS. Grateful to Mr. Sudhir Sharma, the President, Dr. Durga Prasad, Executive Secretary of AIMS, and all the board members of the AIMS, the AIMS Secretariat, and lastly, all the participants for taking the time out for this session today. Your presence has made it wonderful. And very big thank you to Mr. Manish Jain, who is from UAE, accepted our invitation to be here on the panel, and also Mr. Kamal, who is joining, I think, on the way somewhere because he's traveling. So thank you for both of you, and thank you everyone for joining this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anand. My sincere thanks to you as well for really holding this session together. And personally, I also had a good time. And thanks, Mr. Manish, for sharing the insights. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Kamal. It was a very good, insightful session to learn about different experiences. Thanks, Dr. Anand, for having us here today. It was a really good session. I really thoroughly enjoyed. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.